People in business often tell me that they're being ground down by government, and farmers tell me that as well. Before we find out how, don't let me and this show be ground down without government. Please donate. Keep us on the air because we don't have government to keep us going. Jay Goldberg is with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Always a great guest, and thank you for coming on today. And let's talk about the fact that Stats Canada, the government itself, has just recently put out a report saying the regulatory bureaucracy has increased by 37%. Yeah. In other words, they're saying that more and more businesses, and we hear this anecdotally, have to spend more and more time, more and more money filling out forms. And of course, that's only half of it because again, the government then hires more people to read the information that's put in.
And it's up 37% since 2020. So we're not even talking about since the Trudeau government came into office. We're just talking about the regulations are
running
up.
Government bureaucrats running. It's not even the politicians so much, but they should be controlling
in the past 5 years alone, and that's leading to 1.7% lower GDP than we could have right now. And you look at the tariffs that are being threatened right now from the United States. Economists are estimating that could be a 3.2% hit to GDP. So if you just hadn't had those increased regulations over the past 5 years, that would make up for half of the potential impact of Trump's tariffs. So that's just to show how significant all this regulation actually is in stifling our economy.
Well, I hear from farmers, it's business, but also I hear from farmers, they say they work hard all day, and then in the evening they have to sit down and do paperwork. If you're starting a new business, it's virtually impossible because the government doesn't give you enough time to work for all of the things that they require. And we hear governments say, we're going to cut red tape. But it seems to me that when they say we're cutting red tape, they're creating more red tape to cut more red tape.
Well, look, you can't lie. The numbers don't lie. It's up 37%. So they're not cutting red tape, they're adding red tape. And a recent report from the CFIB also showed that compliance costs for businesses in Canada last year, over $50 billion. Just think of how much money that is, over $50 billion to our economy. That's huge.
So again, the mainstream news doesn't talk about that because they're paid by the government. But what should, average people watching this show right now are saying, that is just stupid. Yeah. This is stupid that this is going on. So what should they do?
Listen, small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and so we've got to be demanding from our politicians, from our political parties, we don't just need lower taxes, and we do, but we also need to fight regulation. That's just as important, cutting red tape, but actually cutting red tape, not just saying we're going to cut one piece of red tape and adding 3 more pieces, which is what government's been doing in recent years. We need a plan to actually cut substantially more than they ever add, and we need politicians who will do that.
And Jay, you know the irony of this, because if some politician, minister, prime minister said, yeah, we're going to do this, and we're going to set up a committee, and the committee will hire people, more bureaucrats, to look at this.
Listen, how many provinces have created a ministry of red tape reduction to get rid of red tape? You're literally creating bureaucracy to get rid of bureaucracy. It's ridiculous.
Well put. Thanks, Jay. 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.